Hello and welcome to Crafty Corner. I don't even know what number it is at this point, and I'm not going to go back and look. You have to forgive me, I'm a little sick, so I probably sound horrible, but um, I wanted to give an update on where we were with Crafty 3.0 is taking a good long time to get ready, and a lot of that is because I am putting more focus on getting the features that I add to be as bug free as possible and then add more features. Um, we're slowly rebuilding the stuff that we had in 2.1, with 3.0 requiring so much rewrite to handle multiple servers. Things are taking a little longer. We slowed down the development process a little bit. Plus, I've got a lot of other things going on in my life at the moment, so I don't have as much time for dev. But anyway, let's let's move along. So we are at, let's see, last time that I talked about Crafty was, wow, the 20s, the 20s, yeah, 26th. It's been like, yeah, today's the 15th. Anyway, so huge updates between 3.0 here and now. We are on Alpha 5, and I will probably have an Alpha 6, which will have the scheduler here soon, and then we will cut alphas and go to beta. Um, I've basically been using the alpha branch as I keep adding function after function. I just simply increment the alpha because we're not, if you go to my here and the Crafty release cycle, you will see that beta is feature freeze. So we don't add anything in beta. We simply turn around and reorganize things if needed, but we don't change anything. We don't make anything huge changes as far as new additions and features and whatnot. We're kind of feature frozen, taking this idea from Ubuntu a good bit. And at that point, once it's beta, we'll continue to pump out patch after patch till we get most of the bugs worked out, and then we'll go to RC status. And RC status is where it's really basically hopefully bug free, and people at that point just report as you see it. We'll let it run for a good month or so in RC, and then we'll turn around and actually call it finished. Um, so sometimes we'll cut this. It's been pretty rare though, and I'm not really doing the development Fridays anymore, um, just because I've had so much going on. Uh, Man, it's been a long time since I've done one actually. Anyway, we'll stop talking about my failures and start talking about my successes. Otherwise, I will get depressed. So, what we have currently is we have a whole bunch of code, or not code, this is all logs. These are logs. The top half is the Crafty log, and the bottom half is the FTP log because we had some FTP issues, but it's one of the things that I added in this patch. So, we're going to go through everything's been retouched at some point or the other. So, we're going to go ahead and just go through everything that is 3.0 and make this a all-encompassing video if possible. Um, well, that's interesting. That's not what I was trying to go for. Python Crafty. So, as you see, we're Alpha 5. I use PyCharm because it's the bomb diggity, and all this stuff is relatively normal. Um, I'm not starting from scratch. Let's start from scratch. Bump it. Let's do it. If you're going to do it all, right? So whenever you get into Crafty, you need to just delete the Crafty SQLite here. And you can do that in Windows and Linux. It's easier in Linux. Um, so we'll go here, and now we have, everything's new, and it's considered new because it's a new database. You get your API token here for administrator. You get your password. You get your username, and we're going to use my wonderful commandness and say set password for admin, which is case sensitive, by the way. Um, New password for admin, and we're going to go ultra secure, because if you don't go ultra secure and you go really bad, like 4 characters, it's going to say your password's too short. I won't let you set bad passwords anymore. I'm sorry, I'm an evil man. Instead, now you have to be super secure, which now you see I'm very secure, and that's the password that everyone now knows. Can't use test anymore. Got to use something more secure. Um, so now we'll go to reset, and you'll see we have no servers listed here, and we will log in with our ultra secure password. This is my first server. We're going to call it survival, and that's where I keep all my stuffs, and I run paper, and I call it paperclip because I'm weird. We're going to uncheck this box for now because I don't want to waste all day, and we will start, and it'll start in the background, and it's sitting there doing nothing. So we have 16 cores. That's incorrect. It's actually threads. Every time I run a video, I do this. Um, let's find the templates for admin dashboard. Find cores. No, that's incorrect. Threads. Hot patch. So now that's it. That's now correct. So 16 threads in my processor. How many memory, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff is relatively the same. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's grayed out now is task. I'm going to get the scheduler done in this is like the next thing I'm doing. So I've done everything else because I really didn't want to touch it because it's over 1,000 lines of code just for the scheduler. And I'm going to have to rebuild all of it. And I don't really want to do that at the moment, but I'm going to need to at some point. Anyway, so survival, it's red because it's turned off. You see its status is stopped. Auto start is disabled. Start time, of course, is empty. All the stuff is empty, but it does tell you your server port. Now, it's important to talk about here for a second because this is what's configured on Crafty, not what's in your server properties. So if your server properties has a different port, you need to change this port. And you're like, well, Phil, how do we do that? Well, let's go to the edit button up here. And you can see we can do all kinds of things. You cannot rename your server. Actually, I think MC Gaming found a bug here. Well, not a bug, but a hack. You can get around it. He's like a pen tester, I swear. Which is good. He's found like over 30 something bugs. Hold on a second. PETA has decided to send me something, and now he's going to be in the video. He's like, I found you. Yes. I don't hide it. Yes, you can see that it's, yeah, that's me. That's me. I'm surprised it took so long for you to Google. But anyway, now that he's been immortalized in the video, let's continue. So we have our server, paperclip, blah, blah. Here's our memory options. Here's any pre-arguments. So if you wanted to add something before the dash jar and anything after the dash jar, we'll go here. Jar URL, let's change this because I want to run 15.2. So we're going to update that, and here's where we get into some fun stuff. So we have auto starting, yes or no. I'll keep it on no, but if it is turned on, you set your number here. Priority, so your servers will start in a priority now. So for instance, you have 6 servers, and server 1 and 2 is high priority, and then 3 and 4 is medium, and then 5 and 6, of course, are lower. Crafty will actually start them in that order. So the highest priorities, they will battle it out, and the one who has the most delay is second. So if you have one with a 1-second delay and a high priority, and another one with a 30-second delay and a high priority, then it will do the first one first, wait 1 second, start the server. Wait 30 seconds, start the second server, and then go to your medium priority and do the same. This way, all of your servers won't start up at once, and your CPU won't go crying to you and saying, please don't do that anymore, Daddy, it hurt. So that sounded really dark. Anyway, turn on crash detection. If the server stops, it'll automatically restarted. We're going to turn that on. There was some logging issues with this. I think I fixed them. And here's where you change your server port. So you can do things like, 6 or 5 or whatever, and then whatever IP address that Crafty should talk to. Now, Crafty is going to be talking to itself because I'm on the server. But if you had, for instance, two IPs on the server. And Minecraft was set to use the other IP. You need to change this. Anyway, and of course you can delete the server. Now you can delete the server because it's not running. You cannot delete the server that is running. I need to point that out. Anyway, so we'll hit save and go back. And here's the start, stop, and restart. Notice you can't stop a server that's already stopped. I mean, it's kind of common logic, but anyway, so we won't start it yet. Let's go to details. So details, I demand to see the things. This is server ID 1. It is called survival. All to start is false. Blah, blah, blah. Typical stuff. Your world name is called hardcore. The world size is 17. 17.8. And here is our update URL for the jar. And we have no historical data. No one's on there. And here's the update jar button. We're not going to press that quite yet. We're going to wait. So let's go to backup. Okay, I'm skipping around a little bit. Going to backup, and here you can see that we are backing up our server path, and they are being backed up to backups folder. Now you can change this. You can click change backup config. Notice the backup button goes away. You have to save your changes or hit cancel before you can do anything else. We're going to keep our backups for 7 days. We're going to keep them here. I'm not going to back up the whole server because I don't really care. I want the EULA, which turns green when it's checked, simply because I don't want to have to remember to tell it true again. Let's back up the hardcore world and the nether and all that. I don't care about logs. I do want to keep my jar just in case I have a particular version that I don't want to lose. Keep it in my plugins, of course, and some of the other stuff that's important. And we'll just hit save. Now all of these will be laid out in a list for you so you can see exactly what gets done. And let's go ahead and back up the server now. Why not? So a backup task has been started, and it's going to automatically refresh and let you see. And look, everything got deleted. Why? It didn't actually get deleted. I'm in a new folder. My old backups were in a different area. This is a hang up from the old config. But the important thing is nothing got deleted or anything. And PETA, you're like hardcore stalking, man. The reason that I worked at the National Wild Turkey Federation is because I got a job offer from them, and Ducks Unlimited did not ask me to join as a job offer. Anyway, let's not continue in that. Let's continue focus, Phil. Focus back on this. I'm going to close Discord for a minute so that I can actually focus. All right. So here's where your backup is, and you can see that it's 80 meg, right? And we're going to download it. You can download it if you want, or of course you can delete it. And are you sure? Yes. Okay, it's gone. Let's change our backup config. Back everything up again. When you do that, notice all this gets unchecked. Okay. And then hit that, and then you can hit backup server now. That takes about 4 seconds. You can click the OK button, and it'll refresh. And look, it's much larger. Okay, anyway, back to our dashboard, and let's go to our files. So we have a built-in file manager in Crafty. Notice it's sorted by all your folders at the top, and then by size at the bottom. Okay. And you cannot click a server jar because you can't edit a jar in a text format. It just won't work. But let's say you want to change your server properties. Click on it, and you can change your server properties from right here. We're going to have to leave everything the way it is. You can also drill down into some stuff. So you can go into logs, right? And you can look at your logs. My goodness, we have a lot of logs. Let's search for latest. Okay, there we go. And apparently we have one that's called .huge. Oh, that's right. Someone gave me a very large file, and I had all kinds of problems with it. Anyway, I'm sorry. Focusing back up. So you can search your folders, and you can click this button to go back to where you were, and you can drill down a good bit and go back and back, but you can't bust out of this, okay? You can't. It's not really chroot or anything. It's just there's very special programming in the back end to make sure that you can't bust out of this directory when you're in here. It's been fully red teamed. It's fine. I'm a hacker for a job. Like that's my actual what I do for a living. I've had 2 or 3 people try to do this as well, and the file path traversion is killed. We're not having to worry about it anymore. Anyway, so we can start and stop the FTP server here. The credentials are hard coded currently. They will eventually get changed to where you can change them, but for right now they're there. And if you start an FTP server here on this server, it's going to host here. I'll demonstrate this in a minute, but if you have 2 servers running, you can't have the FTP server serving both directories. It just can't do it because there's port conflicts and whatnot. So you have to stop one to start the other, and that's because honestly, the FTP server, even though it is HTTP or not HTTPS, but even though it is FTPS, and it's all encrypted traffic and whatnot, and it's secure, more secure than FTP by far. Um, I still don't like it. I only put it in here because it was a request, and I understand the reason for it. But in my opinion, just SSH to your server and copy the files that way. But people on Windows, they sometimes need these things. So back to our desktop, or not desktop, dashboard. I am obvious. You can tell I'm hopped up on drugs. Legal drugs, over the counter, Sudafed, Advil, those kind of things. Anyway, um, so look at our logs, and these are our logs. Notice we have the latest log for survival. We have the crafty log that's uniform. That's everyone, every server would show the same one. Scheduler, you can make sure your schedules are working the way they're supposed to. Your access log for who's actually looking at crafty. So you can look and make sure that they are, you can look at their IP, which in this case is IP6. But if it was IP4, you would see their remote IP. It's just nice to see these things. FTP log, of course, you can see what's going on with the FTP, and you can also go over here to search, and you can search your latest log for things like, hell, I don't know, world. That's a terrible idea. Hardcore. Yeah, so your search results pop up here, and you have line numbers to let you know exactly what line they come up as. And you can kind of scroll and see here. I think that this is limited to 500 lines, I believe. Anyway, and here are all your errors for quick and easy access. You can see I only have 3 errors. If you see warnings, there are quite a few number of warnings, and you can search through these. So terracotta, for instance, there's 80 entries in terracotta. It's been filtered from that much. So nice little thing for you to be able to see and do and whatnot. Let's go to our dashboard now, and you're like, Phil, just click run, and I will right now. Let's click start. It kicks you over to the virtual console so you can see what's going on right now. You see it goes away because there's a new latest.log. If you wanted to stop this from scrolling, you can click the stop scrolling button. And it stops scrolling. It doesn't stop listening, but it stops scrolling. So if you scroll to the top, it'll kick back down. But if you click this button here, you can scroll up and it'll stay up. And it'll reset. And there you go. So the server is started now. Let's go to our dashboard. And you can see it started. CPU is using very little CPU, and 0.7%, and memory is 1.5 gig. And we have 0 players. So this is kind of what Crafty does for most people. Let's start a new server, because this is why we are doing things. In 3.0, we're able to create servers on the fly. So let's say I'm making a creative server, and we'll start that server. Go back to our dashboard. Now this isn't going to work, I don't think. Go to the terminal. Yeah, it does. Let's go to Files, and let's go to Server Properties. And in here, we'll Control F, 6553. Well, that's not what we're, no, it's 255, you idiot. 25566. So that's the port number. That's why this is able to run. Otherwise, it would have crashed. And let's go to our edit up here. go to the bottom and change this port number and hit save. Look, you can't delete it because it's running. So we hit save, and now you'll see really quickly this will change to say a creative server because now it's talking to the correct server. Notice this is on paper 15.2 and this is on 15.1. So now we're going to go to details. Now the server is running, okay? So we're going to click update jar. And I really need to give some type of indication it worked. Oh, poop. It broke. It broke horribly. It's doing this server and not this one. But you notice that it stopped the server. Did I go to the wrong one? I didn't go to the wrong one. Why is this saying 1 when this says 2? It clearly says 2. Why does this say 1? Why are you doing that? And everyone jump into the code with me. Let us go into the codes. Oh, poop. Where is that? It's not dashboard. It's server control. And it's clearly calling the ID that gets passed. I mean, that is the right one, right? Am I passing the wrong ID? Let's look and see what data has for us. Ooh, that looks horrendous. Let's bust that out of the link because it's not a link. Okay, let's refresh. There we go. All right, so servers defined, right? But what are we looking for? We're looking for MC settings. Okay, so find MC settings. Server ID 1. Why is it getting server ID 1 when it clearly says creative? Doesn't make sense. Why? It's got to be from up here. And I'm sorry, guys. Just give me like 5 seconds here. Maybe you'll learn something. Admin handler and server control. Let's look for server control. Server control. And the ID is right there. Oh, that's revert jar, you idiot. Go up a little more. Maybe it's up here. There's the template server control. Oh, look at there. Ha! Guess what? It's hard-coded. No, that's the default. Oh, haha. Just get, which means get all. Get by ID, and then server ID. There we go. Look, I bet it'll work now. Let's close this out. Let's go to our dashboard here. Actually, I'm going to leave them both running because I want you to see this. This will be cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to go here, right? And we're going to say exit. And it'll actually stop your servers for you. So that one's still responding. It'll shut off eventually. It did. And now it kicks over to the next one. That'll stop after a few seconds. And then Crafty will exit. I love it when things work. Now we'll start it back up again. This is going to be a long video, and I'm sorry, but it's worth it. Well, I think it's worth it. Y'all are probably already asleep. Anyway, so now we'll go back to Start Creative. And we'll just wait a few seconds, because even though I mean, I really do. Yeah, I've got 16 of them, but so we'll give it a second here. Hold on. Do your thing. I'm gonna have a mint because I like drinking coffee with a peppermint in my. There we go. And things are settling down. Well, not really. Okay, they're fine again. Okay, let's close that out. And we'll start this one as well. That'll take a few seconds to start. It's just amazing to me that it's come this far. For those of you who don't know, Crafty way back in the day, when I say back in the day, I mean like October of last year, it was console only and Linux only. That didn't have a GUI or anything. Speaking of which, I need to change this. Someone mentioned that earlier. Where's my bass? Bass! Oh god, I am definitely a child of the 90s. Yes, it's hard-coded. Leave me alone. I don't feel like dealing with it at the moment. Okay, there. Hey! Yay! Okay, now we'll go back to details. Oh, we go to our dashboard. Notice this is 15.1, right? So let's go to edit. Let's change our URL here to 15.2. We'll hit save. Now, when we go to details, it'll show the correct thing here. Oh god, I have that still there. Hold on a minute, peoples. I'm sorry. Server control, data, mobile. Okay, so now we update, and what will happen is, even though this is running, it's going to update it in the background. It'll stop it, update, bring it back online, and this should change to 2. Here we go. I really need to give an indication this is working. I'm not going to do it on the video though. Okay, so you see it stopped the correct server this time. That's a plus. And did it break? Oh god, it broke bad. Why did it break? That was working fine. What happened? Watch for commands, blah blah blah, update your server, the URL, get the URL, and it timed out. Method, okay. It says it couldn't find the HTTPS. What? What are you talking about? It says it right there. What's the problem? Oh well, you know what? We'll try it this way. Update server jar. Number 2. Hey, thanks for telling me things are working there, guy. Let's look at our log. Find out server was running. Stopped, backed up the server jar. Starting the server download. It's in the creative one, which is correct. Okay, well, let's start number 1. Or number 2, sorry. Can't start it if it's already started. It's thoroughly broken, isn't it? Bet you the server's not there. I bet you it's gone. This is fun. This is so fun. No, it's right there. WTF. WTF. I guess it was broken so badly that it broke everything. This bothers me. Oh, that's still running. Ooh, I wonder if this is the one bug that we're having a really hard time finding and killing. Yeah, it's still running. It should be stopped by now. Ooh. I always do a video, and when I do a video, I always find very interesting bugs. Can I stop it here? What if I type stop? I typed stop there and it worked, didn't it? Ha! Yes, it worked. Okay, well, things are thoroughly broken. I will figure that out later. Again, alpha product, peoples. Um, so, anyway, there's the backup jar, though. It backed it up. It did back it up. It couldn't download the new one. So, okay, all right. Anyway, let me show you what happens when it does work correctly. Because I know I've tested server 1 and it's been fine. So let's start number 1. And by the way, everything can be done through the console. Let's talk about the console for a minute. Because it's obvious the web version is so messed up. So help does a lot of things for you. You can change your web port. You can check for updates. Let's do that. And you'll see that this is still on RC2. And of course, the snaps branch and my branch are the same right now, even though I'm technically ahead of the snaps. Um, but anyway, of course, you can exit. You can enable and disable auto start. Um, and if you do that, you're going to need to give it an actual, like, example, enable auto start for number one. And now server one will say that it's able to auto start. And let's disable auto start for number one as well. And it does the opposite, obviously. You can list your servers, and there's a flood of info, but basically it just tells you all the things that are really quickly going, including if it's running or not, how much memory it's using, and everything else. Back to help, and let's also list users. And we only have one user, the admin user, of course. We can reload our web server, which is important. So if you change the port, you need to reload the web server afterwards. Let's show stats. And this gives you, a real quick, kind of basically the same thing you see in the GUI, but a little more condensed, and it's great from the command prompt. And of course, you can start and stop servers from here. So like, let's start number one, right? If you just hit start, I'm not gonna do anything. You gotta say start one, and it'll say it's starting in the background. And and you'll see that, running is false because it's still not running yet. Maybe it takes some time. Wait a minute, why? Oh, what is going on? Another bug, I think. Because it's saying it's false. But is it false? How broken is this thing? See, here it's saying true. And it's green. So WTF. Which means to what a terrible... I promise. Oh, there. It was just a little slow. I poll every 60 seconds, I believe. So things aren't 100% up to date all the time. Give it time. It's got to do its thing. And also, running looks not only for a PID, but it also makes sure that the server can communicate by pinging it and getting, server information. So I'm just impatient, which is typical. So let's go back to help, and let's update the server jar for number one. And now you'll see it's starting the jar update process. It moves the old backup. It starts it. It downloads it. Downloads complete. Press enter. And now we go back to our server here. And it's still down. Oh, it crashed because I told it to close. I need to fix things. This is going to make it look like such a kludge. I promise it works great most of the time, but there are obviously some bugs we're still working on. I got to figure out how to recreate that. Maybe, I don't know. I need to stop the video because y'all are probably have already closed it at this point. Anyway, so stay tuned. We have lots of great stuff that's eventually going to get fixed and working. If you want to know how to get a hold of us, you can go to the Discord channel. But you can also go here and join our Discord from this way. Currently, let's look and see. So, currently, oh, you can't see downloads on this anymore. I migrated the server to a new host, the web server to a new host. But 5's available online. It's a couple days old now. Well, yeah, 2 days old. Um, you know what? I'm going to log in and I'm going to look and see. And everyone's like, "Whoa, oh, cool! We get to see him log in." Yeah, you do, but it's okay because I have a password manager. Crafty. There are a lot of things that are called Crafty. I don't even know my password. That's what's funny. I just copy and paste it. Okay, so we go to our downloads. Wow. A lot of people run the Windows. 707. Wow. I'm thoroughly impressed, actually. I'm almost. It's very rare that this. I mean, it's a lot of people, man. This started as simply a way for me to learn Python better, and it turned into this, which is pretty cool. Anyway, let's look and see. Wow, we're getting popular. That's kind of cool. Anyway, so I'm going to stop this video now. Thank you for hanging with me for however long this was. It feels like an hour, I'm sure. Anyway, have a good day. Thank you for your attention.